adjust that so the YouTube peeps can actually see us. There we go.
Good. We got time.
So yeah, fun fact about the show, Clement actually hates doing it.
What?
There we go.
I did not. That is not true.
Yeah, that's. Oh yeah, and you're also not a doctor. Hey everybody, welcome to Wine with Wyan. Today we're talking about weird investments that actually work, and now it's about to get sloppy. Sam Prentice, welcome to Wine with Wyan.
Hey,
Cheers, man.
Appreciate it.
Dr. Juan, the person who likes wine to Wyan the least out of everyone alive. No one has a worse time watching Wine with Wyan than Clement Juan. I'm sorry, Dr. Clement Juan.
Yeah.
Oh, tonight we are drinking my favorite wine. As of right now, I think this is officially beat District 7 is my favorite. Not as good value per dollar. It's not a good value per dollar. District 7 is like
is it
$8.
available from Costco?
Absolutely not.
There you go.
No, so it can't. I guess it can't be that good.
Yeah.
But this is actually like a $70 bottle of wine, and it's like I think it's like 30% better than D7 than District 7. So the value prop is still better on D7, but taste wise, this and Casone are my current favorites.
Got it.
Okay.
All right, it's time for the simultaneous sip.
Okay.
That's my jam, right there. Oh, this episode is brought to you by Aubrey Marcus for supplying the clothing. Yeah, Aubrey Marcus launched a clothing line. Did you know that?
Is that a fact?
He did. Yeah,
Huh.
this is an Aubrey Marcus shirt right here. So it just goes to show if you get a big podcast and have open relationships, you too can start a clothing line.
Oh,
That's the rule.
I did not. Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever met Aubrey?
Could we? I don't know that I have actually.
He's good people,
I-
man. He's good people.
From on
And he's speaking at Brand Builder Summit on August
Sweet.
24th and 25th in Austin, Texas. We're almost sold out of that thing.
I saw.
Now we're like 7 weeks out. Pretty darn cool. This episode is also brought to you by Brianna Thomas, who's watching. Comment if you're here because she sent us this bottle of wine. Yeah, Brianna Thomas.
And another.
Oh, and another bottle of wine that's sweet white wine,
Yep.
which why would you drink sweet white wine unless you're JP Sears or Clement Juan, apparently.
Yeah.
Not a sweet white wine guy myself. What is your wine of choice?
I would say my sophisticated answer would be it's a more fruit-forward wine, which is a way of saying I like alcoholic grape juice. That, yeah, it works.
Okay. Noted.
So I would probably consume some sweet white wine.
So this is
That's
is
excellent.
not your jam actually.
Actually, with this, after the meal I just had, this would be perfect. This pairs great
Yeah, this
with
is.
salmon pizza. Like I feel like salmon with cauliflower crust, nothing pairs.
Would you
better
like to
than
Would you like to tell the good people what we had for dinner?
I do nothing more. So I was impressed because when Ryan said he was going to cook dinner, I wasn't sure what I'd expect. I was kind of thinking.
I feel like this is a setup for
If
a really
Clement-
big letdown.
No.
Like-
I mean, I knew if Clement's around, I kind of had an expectation for what food would be like. But you said you were going to cook. I said, okay, we'll see what Ryan can do. But gourmet pizza on a cauliflower crust
Mhm.
with some kind of special red sauce that was there, and then salmon. What was it? Feta cheese.
Yeah,
Something.
yeah. So
Off the charts.
I made you a smoked salmon pizza with feta cheese and a sweet pizza sauce,
Yes.
and then we paired it with a spicy Italian sausage pizza with a spicy cayenne sauce and feta cheese, both on a thin cauliflower crust.
Both of which paired
That's what we
right with
did.
the dry red.
There we go. So I like this wine because it's very dry, I think, which I prefer, and it's still like smooth and full bodied. That's why I like it. It's just good. But it's not $8 from Costco. Hey, cake bread sellers, get it together. Why aren't you $8 at Costco? What is going on here? Hey, everybody, would you, if you're watching, do me a favor, say hey in the comments. We would love to say hello and see who's hanging out with us. What's going on, Matt Harrison? Hey, Brian Dodd, good to see you. G. Keith Walker is in the house. Andrea Feldman, hey, good to have you. Hey, Aiden, good to see you. Hey, Aiden's in Arizona, right?
Yep.
Aiden in Arizona. We got Hermie Wubashaw. That's a badass last name right now. Sean Madison, what's up, dude? Good to see you on Wine with Wine. Andrew Rollins, what's up? Matthew Turner thinks that Clement likes Wine with Wine. You just show it in unique ways.
There we go.
Bradley Smith, what's up, man? Jake Hargrove, good to see you. Woo! Who else we got? Hey, Brianna Thomas. Good, glad you're watching. Glad you saw your shout out. Matthew Underwood, what's going on? Joshua Nicholas Costner, good to see you. Ali Abzulam, what's up from Fort Collins, Colorado? Ryan Moran is watching the show apparently and commenting. I don't know how he's doing that while he's also hosting the show.
There we go.
Bennett Tyndall, cheers from Berry Creek, Georgetown. Yeah, what's up? You can come down for a Wine with Wine taping sometime, Bennett. Chrissy George, her favorite wine is Axios. Interesting. Send us some Axios. We'll drink it on the show. That's how we get free wine here at Wine with Wine.
Like it. There it is.
We crowdsource it right there.
How do people get your address?
Good question, Clement. Good
Yeah,
question.
I've been wondering where. Okay.
Look, if people are resourceful, anything is possible, guys.
There's a secret drop spot.
Nothing is impossible. There's a secret drop spot. You got to know a guy. Someone will greet you. His name is Hal. He'll be in a red coat.
Meet us in the park.
Yeah.
He'll
He'll take you to a secret alley.
Wrong Al. Wrong Al.
Alex Payhick. Hey, good to see you. Perry Masterson is back. What's up? Andre Panitin. Hey, thanks for joining us. Jason, I've never said your name out loud. I know exactly who you are. And then I went to say your name out loud. I was like, oh shoot, I've never said your last name out loud. How would you say Jason's last name?
Franciosa.
Of course you would. Well, hey.
That would be my
way
guess.
easier than I expected. Hey, Derek Schaefer. Good to see you. Backstage Harlequin. Hey, I don't believe you. I don't believe that your first name is actually Backstage. But if it is, that is pretty badass. Or backass. Wait.
Moving on.
Okay. Matthew Christ, what's going on? Good to see you. Dark Horse is actually a very good wine. Excellent choice. Jordan Story. Hey, thanks for hanging out. Chad Baumberger, what's up? Guy Hopton, the middle name of the wine. The middle name of the wine is Cake. Well, I don't know what the middle name is, but it's Cake Bread Cellars. Bradley Smith, hello. What's going on? Jason Morrisby, good to see you. Yes, we indeed are legends. Bill Montgomery, hey. Deveron Builders, that's a company name. That's not your real name, but hello. Chris Van Loan II just joined. Oh, hello, Chris. Grayson Wester is in New Braunfels. What's going on? Matthew Turner recommends Gissiner Winery. Interesting. Wes Westcott, what's up? Good to see you back. Judson Morgan's in the house, everybody. He's going to judge us on our video quality. You know that's going to happen.
Pretty good.
Okay, so Jason put the pronunciation of Franciosa.
Okay.
What did you say?
Frenchy.
It's Franciosa. 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 Matthew Rustad, what's going on? Lucky Madota J. Malunga. Hey! This is the part of the show where we edit out of the final. We're finally going live with the recordings of Wine with Wine, right?
Yep.
Next week. Next
Yep.
week. So what we do here is we go till we can't go no more, and then we edit into the best 20 to 30 minutes, and we're post them on YouTube, and they start to go live next week. All right. So hey, Sam, we hung out all day today, talked about a bunch of weird investment strategies, and every time we hang out, I learn a new skill set of yours that I didn't know what was. Like, for example, I did not know that you can talk about the fund, right? Your fund.
Absolutely.
If I ask, you can talk about your fund.
If you ask and you put enough of this in, I'm good.
All right, so I did not know that you ran a hard money fund, which is actually where you deploy capital, right? So you have your investments, but then you kind of put it into the business, which is flipping homes.
Correct.
And that's where you make a lot of money and pay out investors and also have a return between you. It's like the business
Yeah,
income. I did not know this about you. Yeah. So like, tell me about that. I'm just curious
Yeah,
because I'm putting together a fund for physical
Mhm.
products brands. I did not realize that you were is Darth the word for like treasure trove? Is Darth the right word? A dearth of knowledge.
Dearth
Dearth
means a lack.
a la-
A
I did
wealth
not-
of knowledge.
I did not know you were a wealth of knowledge on putting together funds and syndication. So tell me about this.
Don't know about a wealth of knowledge, but I did. We put
Maybe
together
at least a dearth.
something like that. But yeah, put together the fund to basically took on debt from investors, where they loan money to the company to go flip homes, and so we pay a fixed return, and then we go. The activity we do is we go flip single family properties, and that was born out of necessity because
Necessity for what?
necessity for generating returns for our investors that were not tied to long-term holds because of where we felt like we were at in the market. We wanted more short-term things to work with, so we wanted something that had a exposure for maybe 6 months at a time as opposed to 5 years.
Yeah, I did not know this about you, and one thing we talked about today is that investments are only as good as the business model behind something. And so I'm always curious, how did you set up the business behind that fund?
Good.
Yeah, I know you have a partner that's
Yes,
like
yeah.
that
Boots on
does-
the ground, who does a lot of the operational concerns.
Uh-huh.
Is very connected politically there. So has some good connections that bring deal flow. Because anytime we're having a evergreen fund that has dollars that have to be turned, your concern is, can you keep deploying that capital? And so we have capital raised. You have $5 million raised. How do we make sure that continues being deployed over and over again? Each time we sell a house, we have to find another one to replace it to go keep earning a profit. So that's part of the operational concerns. We got that figured out, and we have enough deal flow where we actually are turning away quality projects.
So basically, he's on because he has the connections to be able to turn on deal flow all the time. How did you meet that partner?
Huh. Long story short, I went back to get an extra hot dog at a basketball game. So
I like the story already.
I was at a investor conference one time, and then that evening they had some of their higher end investors and partners who worked with them and referred business to us a private equity group in Dallas. And so we were at a Dallas Mavericks game watching back when Dallas Mavericks were decent. No jabs to Dallas right now, but maybe a little. And so that being said, as we were there and we watched the game, at the end of it, so the nature of that is you're typically, when you're there for private equities investors, we're of course not bringing any of our investment strategies. We're trying to be, there to just support them as opposed to trying to acquire clients. It's more of just a networking event. Well, at the end, I went back for a hot dog, and there was this individual there who started talking about different investment strategies he thought that were unique, that were different than just stuff. And he starts describing life
Then
insurance.
just stuff? Is that what you said?
Just normal like real estate and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
So he said, here's some things that are different. We're talking about what's different because we all knew real estate. We're talking about what's different.
Mhm.
And so we talked about a few things, and he talked about life insurance, and he described.
Were
it.
you already in life? Like that's your?
Oh, that was my bread and butter. So
Okay, so
I've
he
been in
starts-
that for 10 years.
Okay.
And he had just discovered it, and so he had those new like excited eyes on.
Hey,
which was
look.
awesome.
Roxelle Cho just joined us.
Hey,
Roxelle, we've been
Roxelle Cho,
talking about
hey.
you all day. No joke.
when we talk about favorite entrepreneurs, you're the one.
We're gonna come back to this because you actually inspired some really
Oh,
cool conversations
without a
between
doubt.
Sam and I. So Roxelle, it's good to have you live. We're gonna pivot over to this. Finish your thought about
It'll be
hot
quick.
dogs and Mavericks.
Just went back in. Well, honestly, long story short, he was still there. He had just wrapped up. I went back in for a hot dog. We struck up a conversation. He mentioned that he was excited about this strategy, and he described it. I said, "Oh, I know that." And I took it 3 steps further, and his eyes lit up and like, "Oh, this is great." That
How did you take it? How did you take it?
Oh, he described what he was doing, and I said, "Here's how you can improve on that a little bit." And he
Yeah,
was
I
helping
want
to-
to know. Like, I'm
Yeah.
familiar with buying insurance as an asset.
Absolutely.
So, like, how are you taking it one step further that he wasn't already doing?
Well, just diversifying carriers, and so I had the connection because at that point I ran an agency. I had a couple hundred agents that worked underneath me, and so I was able to connect them to additional carriers who would facilitate the strategy. And so just had a awareness there of what was going on, and being able to help structure and set those things up. So very intelligent partner. Like he comes from a very impressive pedigree.
Did he come from real estate?
I actually came from a wealth management background.
So how did what I'm really fascinated by here is like the business behind what I would consider a passive investment, right? And nothing's ever passive. Passive income is not a real thing because it's always active for someone. It can be passive for you, but there's no such thing as passive income just universally. There has to be someone managing the business behind it, or it's a short-term investment. For example, if you put up a website that sells an ebook and you let that ride, that could be hands-off income for you for a couple of years, but it's a short-term lifespan if you're not running it like a business. So I'm curious, when you're managing real estate, flipping houses like a business, how does somebody from a wealth management background come in and manage that business? You're managing the capital side, I think, but how does he come in to manage the business?
That I would say his wealth management background would not be the greatest driver. He has a pretty large holding of real estate already, so his real estate was a good driver of his balance sheet. So probably a good amount of it was already in real estate. So that background was helpful, and he'd been flipping properties in that area, so already had the line established.
And so did he already have like the infrastructure to flip more, and then
a lot of that we
Okay.
built out here. Like in the last year, we've been running that for about coming up on 2 years here in a few months. So we've built out a lot of the infrastructure to reduce cost, and it's much more of a business than multifamily real estate, for example. So multifamily, you go buy the property, you look for value add, we cash flow, we put in a manager, it kind of runs itself. With the flips, it's much more of a labor-intensive way to build capital, but it's good, it works. But
Matthew Underwood said, "If you eat hot dogs, you do need life insurance," which is true. And Nathaniel
True story.
Trejo, my creepiest fan, sends us all kisses.
oh, there you go. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Nathaniel, I would send you kisses back, but I'm afraid you would get the wrong idea.
Or the right idea.
Well, I don't. Well, if you're into that, you go ahead and send Nathaniel some kisses. And Roxelle says she wants to come to a Wine with Wyan. Roxelle, you come to Austin anytime. We'll put you on a Wine with Wyan episode. So Clement, I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting your official title. I'm so sorry. I hope you're not offended. As someone who went through medical school and earned this degree, I'm sorry. That veterinarian heart surgeon, Juan.
Yes.
You come from a finance background.
Mm-hmm.
Would you catch people up to speed on what you did in the investment banking world before you were a open heart animal surgeon?
Yeah. In investment banking, well, just generally what investment banking is, or
I want to know what you did specifically.
so we did a lot of pitch decks. We did kind of deals in the insurance world, where financial institutions at Bank of America Securities, where because it was owned by Bank of America, we didn't do very many banks, but because
So you were putting pitch decks together for people who were raising money?
raising money, looking or proposing for other people to buy or sell, and so
Buy or sell businesses?
yes. So
Like buy a business, they were raising money to buy a business and something like that?
Not necessarily. So investment banking has basically two parts. One is you raise money for businesses, and the other is that you help them merge and sell each other. And so in financial institutions, because there's a lot of complexity around regulatory requirements, there's actually three financial statements. One is the regulatory, one is the financial statements that you have for external, and then one that you have internal.
I'm already confused, so it's probably perfect.
Yeah. and so yeah, like our clients were like they could be mutual funds, they could be
What-
insurance companies.
What were you doing actively on a day-to-day basis?
So we would support the senior bankers in kind of if they were advising on a merger and acquisition, then we'd help them prepare whatever documentation they required, and they'd send us like a series of requirements, and we prepare the documentation to their needs.
All right, so I have no idea what you just said, but the reason I bring all this up is Clement said something to me. I'm sorry, Dr. Clement. This I'm awful. I'm being so disrespectful tonight. Dr. Clement said something really interesting to me once, which I thought was really interesting. You were making a comment about an amount of money, and you're like, it's just a bunch of zeros. Like, there's no emotional attachment to it at all. There was just you had seen so many zeros and so many big numbers that you had just normalized a certain amount of money in your mind, right? And you, every time I hang out with you, like I didn't know you had managed hundreds of agents in the insurance world, and you put together funds, and you realize like how how much goes on outside your world,
Mm.
right? It's so easy to just get lost in your world and think your problems are big or your goals are big. And every time I think that I've set a goal that's big enough, I meet people that are just like, oh well, that's completely normal to me. They go, I'm not thinking big enough. And it's just interesting when you are around people who have uh, managed huge sums of money. There's no more heaviness around money anymore. Like the two of you are probably are two like the most like logical thinkers about dollars. There's like no emotion attached to it at all. And I think part of that is because you manage a ton of high net worth clients and you are used to managing huge dollars in the investment banking world. So money is just like it's just a bunch of dollars. Do you agree or disagree?
I think like, but probably for me, prior to my investment banking, I did accounting and auditing, and like the first day, like you're coming out of college, you're an intern, and you go into a company and you see like $30 million in a bank account, and that's like, oh, that's shocking the first time you see it, and then you just keep on seeing it over and over and over again, and it's just like it's just zeros.
There you go.
Normal can adapt. Normal adapts over time, definitely.
Yes,
So what
yeah.
you view as normal definitely changes with your life experiences for sure.
All right, so here's a question. When I was a kid, my mom used to drive around the rich neighborhoods, and she would look at the big houses, and she's like, "Don't you want to knock on their door and just ask them what they do for a living?" And she had this phrase that she would say. She'd go, "Ryan, this is how the other half lives." And I spent at some point, this will be a sales letter for a product I'll put together called The Other Half, because I spent my life trying to figure out how the other half made their money. So, and as a result, I got kind of good at making money. So I want to know from the really rich people that you worked with and the really rich clients that you worked with, how did they make their money?
A lot of my clients made their money in just real estate and investing. So a lot of them came from that background, and then almost all
What type of real estate and investing?
Real estate investing. So
Yeah,
real estate,
like what
yeah.
kind? I mean,
Oh, a lot of multifamily. So a lot of just working their way out, buying small properties. Just each time you depreciate and then transferring out to a bigger property. So they just kept scaling up over time. Took
so
them all
they
over.
just kept buying properties, holding them,
Yeah.
selling them, buying a bigger property.
That's when they went to the next level, but most of them came from a business background. Like almost all of them made their money in some form of business or another. I have very few clients that have maybe
Were they real estate businesses or were they?
the whole gamut. The whole gamut. A lot of anything from real estate to I have clients in the medical field like Clement, and then
God bless you, Sam.
picked up on that quick. But yeah, just the whole gamut for how they made their money. But a lot of them were small business owners who built a business based on either a service industry, some physical products brands, but mostly more in the service industry and things like that. Where they built a business, built it and scaled it. They did one thing well and they focused on that and then scaled it out
And then they
sold
were
the
investing
business,
into real estate.
then took the profits and invested.
So is what you're saying, Sam, that the fast lane to wealth is to build businesses and invest the
I was
profits?
trying to say it in a different way, so I didn't have to have this one right here. But yes, that's the idea.
Oh, we had that moment right here. So the majority of the people you work with, the high net worth people, have a business that they invested in real estate, and then they came to you to accelerate their
So,
goals.
Yep, absolutely.
Beautiful, Clement.
Dr. Clement, I'm sorry.
I think at least in financial institutions, it's much different because, especially with the people that we deal with, they're typically not the people who started any of these institutions, like MetLife, or like these are massive insurers. You had Hank Greenberg though, or like AIG, which was very different. Or like there were a few specialty insurance companies who were founded by the same people who are still running it, but that was very rare.
Very rare.
Yeah. So a lot of these, like investment banking, is a world where, when I was in it, which was pre 2009, if you weren't doubling your take-home pay every year, every 3 years, you were not doing well.
Who is who is the you in that?
Anybody in investment banking. So so you start out at somewhere between 60 and 100 grand, and right out of college, and then every 3 years, if you're not doubling, you're not doing well.
Is that why you're no longer in investment banking?
No, because like I knew that from the outset, I wasn't planning to be in investment banking for long. Because investment banking, the way I see it is,
Sorry, that was supposed to be a joke,
I
and,
gotcha.
no one laughed.
Doubling
and now,
every 3 years
and now
wasn't
I
enough
just
to
feel
quit.
like a jerk.
It was a little harsh, but I was going to say for Clement, doubling every 3 years, that just wasn't enough.
yeah,
You had
you
some
want-
higher goals, higher aspirations. Right?
Am I
Well, to a
right that you
degree.
wanted to be on the other end of the table?
yeah, absolutely. Like so, one of the like, there's nothing wrong with salespeople, but investment bankers are salespeople. They're salespeople for money, and they make money based on knowledge that other people don't necessarily have. So they know somebody who needs money. They know somebody who has it, and they connect these people. And for that, they take 5 to 8% kind of thing, or more. And then the other option is they help people buy each other or sell each other. And the data shows that most mergers and acquisitions destroy value. So
Yeah.
it's like,
It wasn't the world you wanted to be in.
no, because like for investment bankers' role, the deal ends and you celebrate and it's over. I'd rather be on either the integration or the operation side, or actually trying to create value.
Dr. Clement, I have some really interesting news for you, but you haven't even touched your wine, and that's
He's nursing.
It's like
you
at
have
least,
not. No.
at least 3/4 of an inch.
No. All right, I'm gonna.
We need to roll back
I'm
the
gonna.
tape.
I'm
He's
gonna manage
from
you.
Canada, right? Is that metric measurements for you?
I was actually going to say 3 centimeters. And then I laughed at myself.
I'm gonna work on this like I work with Esther. When you take 3 more sips, I will tell you a secret that you will really like.
Okay.
Or gulps. Sips or gulps. That did not even touch your lips. What was that phrase that you were saying earlier? Things you don't want to hear. Things you don't want her to say. Or like
Things you don't want to hear in the bedroom.
things you don't want to hear in the bedroom. All right, so that didn't even touch your lips,
There
Clement.
you go. Now you got it.
All right, there.
Yeah, that
there
becomes
we
a thing.
go.
We gotta put a trademark on it.
All right, we need it. We need to shorten it. You know, that's what she said is nice and snappy.
Concise. I got
Things you don't want to hear her say in the bedroom is way too long.
I think once you said it once, you can just kind of nod about it. You know what's going on there. You gotta set the stage.
We need a shorter one. I need to make it snappy on Wine with Wine, if this is going to be a
Okay.
copyrighted phrase.
I'll give you
This
something
is
to think
2
about.
or 3.
I'm not sure I believe you. Oh, bedroom words is Aiden's suggestion. That's pretty good.
Bad
All right.
works.
Dr. Clement, good news.
Okay.
Big news. The legendary Gary Vaynerchuk had a podcast posted this week where he says in his life he's only read 9 books, and his favorite is your favorite book.
I've got a lot of favorite books.
Dream Big.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that really surprised me too. So Dream Big is a world about a book about a famous private equity group, and Gary Vaynerchuk said that started him on his journey to start VaynerMedia, because he thought that VaynerMedia would be the proxy for him to start a private equity group to buy up businesses.
No, I know that, but like, Dream Big. I thought that was a relatively recent book, wasn't it?
He's describing it as like 2009.
Okay. Okay.
So
I
it
don't know
would have
what
been
was.
new.
Okay.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Hmm.
I thought it was pretty cool. Have you ever read any books about 3G Capital?
I haven't. No.
Inspired Clement, which inspired me, and
Yeah.
look, sales of that book just skyrocketed right there. Because at least 8 people are going to see this,
There it is. I
and
like it.
at least 4 of them are going to buy that book. And I'm pretty sure only 4 people know about that book
If you
anyway.
make a mental note, I don't know, I'll remember it after the wine, but I would like to get it. So
Okay,
You could
got
probably
it, dude.
borrow it somewhere.
Yeah, it's on the shelf somewhere. Hey, Chandler Bolt, good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us on Wine with Wyan. Hey, if you just joined us, say hey in the comments. We'd love to see who's watching. Brianna Thomas wants to know, is Ryan Moran the new Michael Scott? I think she's referencing if we can popularize the bedroom words.
bad
phrase.
bedroom words.
Oh, that's good. Ooh, bad bedroom words.
Got it.
That's good. I think that's at least an improvement.
Bad bedroom phrasing.
I like words better.
Okay, if you
All right,
want-
we need your help here, everybody. How the phrase that we want to popularize is you don't want her to tell you that in the bedroom. For example,
Mhm.
Dr. Clement took a fake sip of wine. It didn't even touch his lips, right? And I said, that didn't even touch your lips. A good response would be, ooh, you don't want her to tell you that in the bedroom.
Mhm.
That's too many words. You can't popularize that phrase. So how can we shorten it? The best that we've come up with so far is,
Bad bedroom words.
ooh, bad bedroom words. All right, so we need some bad bedroom banter. No.
I feel like phrasing's gonna grow on you a little bit here. Just
What is
bad bedroom phrases.
bad bedroom phrases?
You get there.
All right, we'll play with it here.
You're not enjoying it as much as you'd like.
What's that?
You're not enjoying that as much as you'd like.
I'm enjoying it more than Clement is enjoying his night right now, but I'm not enjoying it as much as I would like to enjoy it.
And that would be a bad bedroom phrase.
That would.
See, it's working. It's working. There you go. Now we're on it. I had to dig for that
You
one
got
a little
me.
bit there. I apologize.
Good work. That was good. All right. What's up, Mike Ackright? Good to see ya. Amanda Schendel. Hey, thanks for hanging out with us again. Greg Benke. What's up? Chris.
Hello, Greg Benke.
Hey, Chris
Greg
Nowak is
Benke.
here. You know Greg
I
Benke?
know Greg Benke.
How do you know Greg
buddy.
Benke?
He's a man. He's a client.
He's. Did you say he's a man or he's the man?
He's the man.
I hope he's both of those
Yeah.
things. He's a man who's the man.
He
Greg
is
Benke.
both of those.
And Chris Nowak is here. He's an okay human.
I know Chris Nowak too. There you go. There's the man too.
Where's
Just talked to him a few hours ago.
Yeah, you were on the phone with him. I was texting with him a few hours ago. It's like we're all twins.
I'm telling you, it's
Except
been a
there's
good
three
day.
of us. What do you know?
So somebody forgot to send a PDF this afternoon.
Okay,
Oh.
let me explain here, Chris. You see what happened was.
What had happened was.
So Ryan had this cauliflower pizza, and I got over here, and he needed all this prep help. I'm just joking, but so I owe you that, Chris. It'll be there in the morning, I promise. Late morning, mid morning.
Then that was just recorded. So it's got to happen. Hey, Kayleen Weiser, good to see you. I like her suggestion actually. What she said that you wish she didn't. You can only do that. You can only do that in text, though. You can't say that's not.
Wish
And
she
plus,
had
you can't popularize it. It's already popularized.
Yeah,
we got to make it our own.
We're here to be original,
We gotta make this one our own.
but I like it.
All right. T Slice. Is there somebody on the line?
There it is. We have Roxelle Cho on the line.
Oh! Roxelle Cho's on the line. What's going on, Roxelle?
Nothing. I'm just sitting in the middle of an island with a live volcano.
You're just sitting in the middle of an island with a live volcano.
What a
Absolutely nothing's going on.
The usual for Hawaii.
Making bikinis.
There you go.
That sounds. We're all going to Hawaii, everybody. Let's go. They got entrepreneurs and girls in bikinis and live volcanoes. We're going right now. The next wine with wine is wine in Hawaii. Well,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Pretty much I'm just doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, and now it's working, and trying not to stress out as everything happens really fast.
All right. Well, tell me more. I mean, when we were at the backroom meeting, we were talking about like your next steps, and what I'm hearing you say is that everything's working. So what did you do, and what's working?
Well, I took the advice, and I went hard when I got home improving production. So we managed to set up 2 production teams. Did everything in that area. That takes about 3 months to get going smoothly. In the meantime, in the backroom phone call, you said to get more video out. So we started turning on the phones more on our lives. Added that, adding some really just raw content.
Did you say you started turning on the phones more? You mean like recording more on your phone?
Yeah, we just put our phone and turn it on.
That's
No
great.
audio equipment.
So let me give some context here for people who were not sitting in our last backroom meeting. Roxelle had a nice problem where she literally could not fulfill inventory as fast as it was selling. And at the same time, her story behind her physical products brand was so compelling. I said, Roxelle, you've got to fire up the phone and start just talking about your brand publicly. And then I said, Roxelle, let me give you money. I want to invest in this company. So now you're saying you ramped up production. you're on your way to hitting economies of scale. You started recording videos. What's been the result of you doing the videos?
A lot of really good engagement. I'm able to answer the questions directly to the customers. Instead of us having problems with the support, and right now we're facing shipping delays of 3 weeks out because our production is so behind. And with these live videos, we're able to tell them truthfully what's happening, being really transparent with our shipping time. With our setup here, I'm working out in my garage, so showing them that whole process and that there's real people behind the scenes, they're a little more understanding. They're kind of, I think they feel like they're part of the process. So just building better relationships with the customers, and we're able to just enjoy what we're doing a lot more, focusing on the people, building relationships rather than building the profit. It's a lot more enjoyable.
That's great, Roxelle. And how are sales overall since we last spoke?
So I believe in January we were looking at 60 to 70,000. We are now, I think, at the backroom event. What's that? April we were at 80,000. May we're at 90. So just in June we hit 120,000.
Great.
We crossed 100K! Woo! We did it, everybody! We did it! We got another millionaire made!
Love it.
Yeah.
Roxelle, we hit the million. We really want to get you to 10 million. The thing that we were talking about today was Sam and I, while we were cooking cauliflower pizza, was I am putting together a board of advisors for a fund that I'm putting together, and you're my avatar. I actually was telling Sam, you're my avatar of why I'm starting this physical products brand, because I want to bring in a board of advisors that can take an entrepreneur like you with a story like you, with a product line like you, and take you from 1 to 10. So I just want you to know you've inspired me, and I'm so excited to be a small part of your journey. I think you're just an amazing entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
I literally, I just keep my earphones in all day, and I think I just play Freedom Fast Lane, Gary V. I've been listening to Ken Courtwright's podcast. This is just really actionable things, and it's just that constant. I really like Gary Vaynerchuk, just the way he works on just building relationships and focusing on, just that bringing value to the customers. It's the only way I've been able to grow the business, and every time I can come from that mindset of bringing value and just adding to the customer, journey, that's the only time the business grows, and it's the only time it's really fun. So,
Roxelle, would you give a quick plug for your brand?
Sure, it's at Fused Hawaii, FusedHawaii.com.
Would you spell that out? Would you spell it out?
What was that?
Would you spell out the brand?
Fused, F-U-S-E-D, Hawaii, H-E-W-A-I-I.
FusedHawaii.com.
Yeah.
Roxelle, I'm so proud of you. Thanks for calling in. So excited to be part of what your journey. Can't wait to work with you even more.
Congratulations.
All right.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Good work, millionaire. All right, see ya. Oh, I got all kinds of feels
I'm
now.
telling you
This
what.
is just great.
Her story was amazing. Seriously.
Does
that
anyone
backroom
want to
meeting-
cry right now? Not over Roxelle, the fact that Dr. Clement still isn't drinking his wine. That's what I'm crying about right here. Moo. Hey, you know who's killing it? Travis killing it, Killian.
Hey, is Travis on?
Travis is on Wine with Wyan right now.
There we go.
He's somebody that I actually want to bring on to the board of advisors inside of the fund. So, Travis, we have some catching up to do. There's a lot of momentum on this fund. Come on over. Travis, we need to get you on a Wine with Wyan,
He's in Austin,
by the
isn't
way. He is in Austin. He lives 2 minutes down the
Okay.
road. He's a little camera shy.
I gotcha. Talk to him a little
Wouldn't
bit.
you, if you were named Killing It Killian?
Without a doubt. No. We had a lot of good conversations in Costa Rica at a backroom meeting. I was so impressed. He's a sharp cat.
Travis is
Good guy.
okay people. He's a good person.
Mhm.
Dr. Clement, what's on your mind?
It's currently blank.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
That's a skill set right there. You meditate?
Ooh, bad
Currently-
bedroom phrases. It's warming up. It's warming. It's warming up. It's
That's
growing
good.
on me.
I like it.
Okay, we have a lot more wine to drink, and you need to stop. This is cake. This is Cake Bread Cellars. Do I need to bring out the Costco guns here?
We have some in a box somewhere, I'm sure.
Good.
Some District 7 in a box somewhere. Hey, Carl Burnham, what's going on? Good to see you. I just need to give public thanks to Aiden for being so
Dude.
unbelievably active in the comments every time we do Wine with Wyan. Then he says, "Where is Travis?"
Hey, Travis is in.
About
There
2
it is.
miles that way.
I like it.
That's
Travis, if you
that's
start
right.
now, you can probably help Clement with his wine. It's fine.
If you get here quickly.
You can be on Team Clement for
He
drinking.
doesn't even have to get here quickly. Is the thing.
That's terrible, Dr. Clement. Dr. Clement. All right, this is the thing. When Dr. Clement finishes his first glass of wine, we bring out the
Surprise.
we bring out the mystery surprise.
I like it. I like it.
That's what happens. Now,
This
if
is
you-
what peer pressure looks like.
it's
Good.
a glass of wine, Dr. Clement.
Don't do drugs.
As a doctor, you should know that it's good for your health to drink a glass of wine a day. Seriously, it's got resveratrol or whatever the hell that scam is.
Reversatrol.
Yeah. Did you just call it reversatrol? That's what a bad GNC salesman calls it.
That's awesome.
All right, you're gonna want to see the surprise. So we need. Look, I'm not willing to peer pressure people to drink, but I'm hoping you don't have the morals that I do. So if you will put in the comments, "Drink Clement, drink." Please put that in the comments so we can hurry this
Bonus
show
points
on
if you
the
send a little
road.
video of it there. Like, give them a raw
yeah, bonus points if you send a video of yourself saying "Drink Clement, drink," and when we post this publicly, it's under the hashtag "Drink Clement, drink."
That's awesome.
Yes. Oh, my life is so great right now, isn't it?
We might have 2 hashtags tonight. I like this.
What one is bad bedroom phrases?
Without a doubt. That's going to be a thing. When we see that trending on Twitter, we can know we've done good
did-
for the world.
We changed the world. And that's why our tagline at capitalism.com is create the change.
That's right.
We're creating the change with hashtags.
Thank you, Brianna.
Like drink Clement drink and bad bedroom phrases.
There it is.
What a great day.
Good day.
Hey, Mr. Prentice. The Prentice. I was trying to make an apprentice pun. It didn't
It was
work.
it.
I'm
It's
sorry.
Almost there.
Hold on.
There we go.
What's your favorite asset class right now? I know that
Oh.
you like mismatches of value,
Mhm.
and by that I mean like you're kind of a would you call it a counter trend investor? Like you bought a lot of
Yes.
oil and gas
Very
when
much
it got
contrarian.
when it pulled back. So you like to buy assets that other people are overlooking.
Ideally.
What are people overlooking right now?
Wow, that's a good question. That's a good question. I do still feel like there's some value in the energy sector. I'll tell you a unique one I just came across here recently, and this was something I had been somewhat closed off to. So I grew up in a oil and gas family. So I got to see a lot of oil and gas. Not a large company, but enough size where they're making a fair amount of acquisitions. And it was cool seeing that from a smaller company making acquisitions from larger companies. You definitely get very sharp in your deal making skills because you're kind of going up against the big fish every time you make one. But one that I came across here recently that was unique was in the saltwater disposal arena, and so or wastewater disposal. So when you operate an oil well, you're pulling oil out of the ground. When you do that, you pull out wastewater at the same time. That has to be disposed of. So it comes out, and they either pipe it or truck it over to these disposal facilities.
Huh.
And a lot of those have been owned by old farmers who had the land. They had a well bore drilled down. It was an old oil well that went dry. They just start pumping water down it. And you have a lot of these farmers who owned it. So you got a lot of generational gap there where they're starting to sell off some of those assets.
Yeah.
And I just saw an article the other day where Mark Cuban went out and bought a massive amount of those and put those in his portfolio here recently. So a lot of those, because they're really good cash flowing assets. It's kind of like
How do you even invest in something like that?
buy a hole in the ground and dump water. I mean, it's really exciting. I mean, it is what it is. And so it's just.
No, but really, I mean, like, how does the opportunity for you to invest in that type of a
Well, I
cash flowing
had
business?
that brought to me. I mean, it was really a unique business connection. I had played baseball with a couple boys, And
So it was based on who you knew.
It was based on who I knew.
You played baseball with a couple boys. Those are bad bedroom phrases right
Right.
there.
We're stretching there, Ryan.
Okay.
Well,
So
we got to hold a certain level of standard here. I'm going to
Look,
be honest.
you
like,
told me that there's no such thing as a bad pun, and
this
so,
is true. This is true.
so
I should encourage this habit.
I say them all. What were you gonna
That's
say,
right.
Doctor?
so it's fracking in which states?
So, especially like there's some of the like Texas and Oklahoma basins that are real heavy on the water production because depending on what basin you're in, they produce more wastewater than others. And fracking definitely produces a lot of wastewater. So if there's heavy fracking, that would increase the area. But just the production, like the extraction of oil, is going to produce wastewater by itself. So it's an interesting asset class. It's kind of like in my mind, like the mobile home parks are to real estate, like to multifamily. This is to oil wells because there's a lot more of an operational business aspect to this.
And it doesn't sound sexy, which means there's
it's
probably not a
not.
lot of people
Yep.
pursuing it.
Yep.
So this was a private raise essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Like you had the opportunity to buy into one of these businesses based on a deal that came from your network.
Correct.
Is what you're saying. Are there any like energy plays that are more accessible to the average investor?
So, and right now I feel like energy has recovered a good amount, and that's just pure speculation. Should not be taken as investment advice. I'm going to take a look.
Oh yeah, hold on. Well, let's just disclaimers.
That'd be
here.
good.
All
Let's do
so,
disclaimer.
all right. Nothing that you see or hear on this show should be taken as investment advice. We are three dudes that know drinking wine. We're going to say a lot
It
of
comes
dumb
like
stuff.
influence on drinking the wine.
Yeah, we're just going to say a lot of dumb stuff. Some of it we might actually believe. Most of it we don't even mean. So you shouldn't take anything we say as serious, as advice, as knowledgeable. We're three stupid people drinking wine on the internet.
Yes.
This is an entertainment show, and you shouldn't do anything that we do because we're a bunch of drunk dudes
That's right.
talking about investing. If you're dumb enough to take our advice, do it on your own risk. Was that enough legal disclaimers?
Perfect, just right.
Okay, great. So you bought into this. What energy plays do you like that are available to people
So-
dumb enough to take your advice?
I had one that I did here recently, and I say recently. This is 2 years ago, back when oil took its downturn. So I have my life insurance policies that are liquid, and there was a point in time when oil took its big dive, and so I actually leveraged out of one policy and went into some oil backed like midstream pipeline stocks, and so those pay a dividend. So it's dividend producing stocks.
What are those called? That class? Do they have a special like
Well,
MLR?
MLPs, so
MLP.
master limited partnerships, or so it was at the time. There was actually two aspects to the company. One was a master limited partnership, which has got some tax efficiencies to it. Then the
And
other
that's
was
like a real estate investment trust for different sectors,
yeah,
right?
different sectors and different places. That's a fair way to look at
Okay,
it.
cool.
It flows through some of the tax benefits of it, where you can have some of your dividends offset.
So if you bought what is it? An MLP stands
MLP.
for what?
Master limited partnership.
So if you bought into a master limited partnership on the stock market, you would get some of the tax benefits
Correct.
if you were to own the asset outright.
Yeah,
Is
some
that
of those
correct?
tax benefits flow through.
That's really cool. Where would somebody learn about MLPs? Just Google like oil and
Google
gas
it.
MLPs.
Google MLPs first, and just get your base built on that, and then the oil and gas ones specifically can look at those as well.
Yeah, it's just be careful. It's a bit of a rabbit hole when you start going down things like real estate investment trusts and MLPs. You're like, what? That you can buy these on the stock market?
And it requires a little bit more paperwork at the end of the year.
Oh, really? Like what?
From what I understand, I have never invested in it. I just read about it. Like you have to like.
It was something I think it's not. It's like I remember I took it to my tax guy. Whatever it
Yeah.
was that I got, I took it to my CPA, and it's
They give you a form.
Yeah.
You have to factor it into your taxes somehow and sign a few.
kind of
things.
like a K1 in a limited partnership.
Oh,
So not
all right.
not my
Okay, that's interesting. So that was 2 years ago. Is there anything now that you're particularly interested in?
I still find some of those dividend paying energy stocks to be attractive, but a lot of it is based on just private placement deals that are out there. So I like a lot of things that are more leaning towards recession proof or recession resistant type asset classes, because I think that's a greater risk. I think right now avoiding some of that risk and staying liquid and or staying outside of this cycle will be what's most valuable. So I'm shifting a lot towards those. So real estate wise, I'm looking at lower end plays, if that makes sense. So when the economy takes a hit, everything compresses downward. So when we buy these single family properties to flip, we're buying smaller properties that if the economy takes a hit, we should have people compressing into
Yeah.
mobile home parks.
Yeah, it's
those
the
kind of
same
assets,
thing
yeah.
behind why I invest in mobile home parks.
Absolutely.
If there's a market downturn,
Yep.
people probably aren't going to buy bigger houses.
Yep.
They're gonna go down.
Gotta drive downward.
Right.
So I like those kind of things because I think during a recession those will do real well.
Yeah.
And that's in my mind the greater concern right now is growing wealth but limiting the exposure to the next downturn. And if we do that and stay somewhat liquid, the downturn happens, we want to go pounce and take advantage of it.
So you gave me a really cool braingasm today, which was so full disclosure, you're in the insurance field, right? So and I have my policies with Sam. Full disclosure, we do business together, and he gave me a really cool insight that just resold me on the idea of buying insurance policies, which was, if you buy something like an index fund, which is what like Warren Buffett would say, most people should just buy index funds, right? Even Tony Robbins would say most people should just buy index funds. Well, if you buy now and we're at the top of the market, because we're basically at all-time highs, right? We've had a little pullback, but we're basically at all-time highs. And the market falls by 25%, you did the right thing at the wrong time, and now you're down 25%. And you could spend the next year just getting back to zero. But if you put it into insurance instead, and you're not going to have the exact same upside. Like if the market goes up 15%, your insurance might cap at like 13%, right? But in a downside, in a downturn, if you buy in, your floor is zero. So when it recovers, while everybody else is trying to get back to zero, you're actually ahead of the game. So it was interesting. When Garrett Gunderson spoke at Capitalism Conference, I asked him what he was investing. He's like, I'm putting as much as possible into insurance because in the event of a downside, of a downturn, you've got no risk, but you still get to participate in the upside if things keep going up. And if it pulls back for a little bit and then comes back, you only get the upside, which is that was a really interesting insight that I had never kind of considered before. Hey, I gotta say hi to a couple people. Jonathan David just joined us. What's up, dude? Good to see you. Gabriel Vega, what's going on? Lindsay Aggie, hey, good to see you. Who else we got? Matt Evan, thanks for joining us. Matt says the market could still go up for a while. Yes, things can always keep going up. He's been told time in the... Oh, this is a good question from Matt,
one,
actually.
yeah.
We're going to come back to Matt. Robert Rolfe just joined. Hello, friend from high school. Good to see you. Bennett Tyndall, hey, what's going on? Options trading she's into. Tyler Atwell joined us. Also by, what did I call him earlier? T-Coin? I like T-Coin. I'm going to go with that. Travis Aller, hey, what's going on?
The Balkan.
All right, so Matt made Dan Mayer's with us, everybody. Oh, hey, Dan, good to see you. All right, so this is a really good point. Matt Evan just put in the comments, I've always been told that time in the market, not timing the market, is what you should pursue. Is that accurate? Is that somewhat true? Is that false? In your opinion, as somebody who, has a bias, but you have an asset class that only goes up in value, doesn't go down.
My gut feel, especially after a couple of these, is that is something that someone who wants to put money in the market today says. And so it says, well, hey, time in the market, it's not about how well it does. And that's a good way to make sure that whether you perform or not, that your client is happy.
So, like, how do the insurers, like, price it? Like, obviously, they're not giving this risk-free return for free. Like, what is the cost associated with some of these policies?
So, good question. So what they're doing when they take on an investment, or they offer you a floor and a cap. So the difference between this and an index fund is that this has a floor to it. What they're doing is they're actually taking the dollars that come in premium. They're taking the vast majority, like 95% of those, and putting it into a bond portfolio that generates back to the 100. That's how they get their guaranteed floor. Then they're buying with the other dollars that are there. They're buying options, long-term options, for that year to be able to give the upside cap. Long story short. But I know, sorry, Ryan. I apologize.
No, that's fine. I have stupid brain. You're the smart ones that know numbers and big words.
That's how they generate that profit. So on these index life policies, and there's index life and there's whole life, which we do both of, and they both have their place. But the index life, where they price that, it's strictly to create that value for you. That's that premium portion is to create value for the policyholder. Where they profit is on the insurance piece of it. So when they sell life insurance, they sell a death benefit. When they sell a $4 million death benefit policy, there's a cost associated with that, and that cost is where they profit. But what we do is we try to minimize the death benefit as much as possible, which reduces our profit as agents, reduces the company's profit. It's still profitable, but it minimizes the insurance portion and maximizes how much goes into cash value. The cash value is not a wildly profitable endeavor for the insurance company. They're pretty ambivalent. It's not like they make more money if the market does better or make less money if the market does worse. They have a disciplined structure that is going to do the same thing over and over again. It's just got the economy of scale of an insurance company buying those options of value.
So I have no idea what was just said at all,
Huh.
but my answer to Matt's question is there is some truth to time in the market, not timing the market. Like if you had bought at the peak of 2007 and you were still in the market today, now 10 years later, you're up. You're way up. There just might be better ways to play that.
Absolutely, and that's what I was going to get to real quick.
And again, if you're in insurance, you are in the market.
You're tied to
You're totally tied to the
mirroring
market.
those
So
returns,
it's
that's
like
right.
you're still getting that return.
So
it's
we're
just
getting
you don't get any of the downside. You just get upside.
You're getting the upside of the equity, and what it lets you do is if you do that, even right now. So right now is a time when most investors would look at the market, most thinking investors would look at the market and say that there is a fair argument to say that there is more risk than there is opportunity in the market right now. We don't feel like the juice is worth the squeeze to put capital at risk because our return, like we don't have a high confidence that we're gonna make
Dividend
money.
yields are low.
Yeah.
PEs ratios are really high. Yeah.
So you look at that and how excited are you about investing in the market? So we say at very least we're in a coin flip environment where the market could go up, it could go down. Once we realize that that's where we're at probability wise, how much of that game do we want to play? How much of the coin flip game? And the answer is not much. Versus if we're in the insurance environment, what we do is when we're in a coin flip day like today, we put money into insurance where we limit our downside and take advantage of upside. If the market goes down, we're still liquid. We can leverage that and go buy. We could go buy the S&P index fund when it's a value again, as opposed to right now.
So why wouldn't argument for argument's sake,
Sure.
why wouldn't somebody buy bonds themselves and buy options themselves?
Great question. And honestly, you could mirror this strategy. The downside is economy of scale. So buying your options, your option buying power that you'll have, I mean, until we get to a little bit different dollar value, our buying power is going to be limited compared to what an insurance company can do. So they're able to buy a significantly more attractive option because of their buying power and how much they're buying at one time. So we can mirror the strategy. We might have, instead of having a 12% cap in the S&P, we might have the equivalent of a 4 or 5% cap because their bond yield is higher because of economy of scale and their options trading desk is more powerful because of economy of scale.
I think it's time for surprises.
He has finished his wine.
He's still got a sip left. Come on, everybody, drink,
Finish.
Clement, drink. There we
There
go.
it is.
We did it, everybody. There we go. Yeah, that was.
Now you're gonna fill him back up.
You did good, Dr. Clement. 2 glasses a day keeps Dr. Clement happy. Okay. All right. So, Doctor, you'll be pleased with the ingredients in this. Would you do me the joy of passing me these materials?
So while you're moving this, I have to ask. I have not seen all the wines with Ryan or with Wyan.
Yeah.
But has there been any kind of surprise like this on a wine?
Not like this. No,
This is
this is a wine with
exciting.
Wyan first. Okay?
I like it.
I did this just for you,
I am so pleased.
Sam. All right, look, I learned something about you every time we hang out, so I thought maybe I'd show you something about me.
I appreciate it.
And the thing that I wanted to show you about me is I am the king at making disgusting desserts. Okay, like I can make any dessert gross.
I'll give it the
okay?
Gordon Ramsay review.
All right, so I just want you to know ahead of time, A, I have not tried this.
Understood?
And number 2, I am very certain this is going to be horrible.
I love how many things you hedge before you provide them to people. You're like,
Look,
you should not consume this, but if you're dumb enough to consume it,
Like I invest for safety.
I like it.
Okay, so I also am not as good on the presentation side as one Dr. Clement would be. But what I have here is this is my version of a chocolate peanut butter pie.
I'm mesmerized watching you cut that pie. To be honest, like
What? You're mesmerized
I-
watching me
it's-
cut the pie?
it's just mesmerized. You got this little diamond thing going.
Well, what I wanted to do here was I did not have a pie pan,
Understood.
so I put it into a just pan,
Makes sense.
but I cut it like it was a pie,
I'm
and
very
now
pleased.
and now I'm attempting to scoop it out.
Do you want a cookie special?
It's too late now. Okay, I'm almost there.
Once he's this far in, he's got to finish.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not a quitter. Okay. All right, so I made this
I
for you.
love
I
it.
don't.
Was
I
that a
don't.
bedroom phrase?
That was a good one, actually. To be honest,
Yeah.
I was trying to make it dirty.
Wait,
but
which
I-
one? What did I miss?
Once he's in there, he just has to finish.
Oh,
There
it's
you go,
growing.
Claire.
It's growing. Oh, I got to serve up Dr. Clement here. All right, so once again, if I hadn't said already, I fully expect this to be disgusting.
Understood.
Okay, this if it's not horrible, we won. Okay, and I want you to know one of my favorite things to do is to make an unhealthy recipe out of healthy things. So this was my first attempt at this one, and it's almost always terrible first round. So I need your feedback.
For the
I
camera.
need your feedback on what it tastes like so that I can make adjustments for the next one. Okay?
Fair enough.
So you want our honest feedback, and
Look, I can handle it. Okay?
yeah.
Whatever you have to say to me, someone has said something worse about me on the internet. Okay, hold on. We're gonna need some water for this, just because it's gonna be that terrible.
Just in case.
Can you
Yeah,
can you
actually,
hand just
The,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the
yeah.
and the invisible
Never
hand
mind.
shows
There
up.
it is.
There we go.
I'll pour that out. I'm
Yeah, you
not
bet.
totally
You-
sure what kind
you
of picture
got
we've got going on here. Oh, there you go.
There we are. We're gonna need a lot of this to cleanse our palate from the poo. The poo pie is basically what it's gonna taste like.
Hey, did you know Catherine Library's here?
Catherine Lavery's here. What? Are you kidding? It's a miracle. Catherine Lavery is here, everybody.
I told her to show up on Instagram.
Okay, good
There
work.
we go.
All right, are you ready for this? All right, we gotta take the simultaneous bite.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big piece to cut off, Sam.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good.
yeah.
Dr. Clement will be honest with me.
Mm-hmm.
Sam won't. It's his first wine with wine.
What-
It's
Clement,
also in
Clement
public,
doesn't even
so-
want to be here.
What I've learned from nearly 5 years of marriage is that when someone cooks, you don't really complain. You just kind of like give it a little time, and then you add your constructive criticism during the next baking process. So if like next time I'm like, hey, maybe a little more sugar, a little more chocolate, then you'll know. But until then,
Yeah, well,
We're
What
gonna
is the crust
within-
made out of?
Guess ingredients.
okay, so the crust,
Coconut.
I know coconut.
the crust is made out of almonds,
Mm-hmm.
dates, and coconut oil. That's it.
Really?
Put it in the food processor until it's like
Okay.
creamy, and then I put it in a pie pan, froze it, took it out, and then I filled it with the pie ingredients.
The texture on this is actually, for that crust, phenomenal. For what you just described.
The crust is the piece that I was the least worried about.
Okay.
Okay. So, your feedback on the rest of the chocolate peanut butter pie?
What's in the chocolate? Let's go ahead and get
First of
those.
all, I need your opinion on how it is.
I would eat this again.
Okay.
I don't know if it should be smoother or rougher as far as like the texture on the.
Bad bedroom phrases.
Add bedroom phrases.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. That was a freebie. Good
Yeah.
job, Coach. Gotta tee 'em up every so often.
Uh-huh. I mean, yeah, it's pretty good.
Like,
Wow.
I'll be honest. So here's the thing, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm ready.
With healthy food, I typically go into it prepared for it to taste terrible. So, if you had brought this to me and said this is super unhealthy, I would say, I'd probably be a little more critical. But when you tell me that this
Yeah.
is actually health food, this is something I would consume day in, day out with a healthy profile to it, if that makes sense.
What's the sweetener?
Great question.
All right, so I will tell you what is in this. This pie, the base is mashed cauliflower.
No. You liar.
I'm not lying.
It's terrible Facebook. It's awful. I cannot endorse this. I also cannot endorse lying and lack of transparency. When you sell something, you've got to have transparency. I cannot endorse this. Clement, I think you can agree. Inappropriate.
Mashed cauliflower, a can of pumpkin.
Okay. Let's come back around. The
Uh-huh.
pumpkin.
So cauliflower, pumpkin.
What did you say was in it before? You talked about dates and stuff like that. That sounded really good.
That was in the
There's
crust.
yeah, it's in the crust.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
I have almond flour
Okay.
and a little bit of coconut flour.
Huh.
I've got raw organic cacao. I think there might be a few dates in there as well. And peanut butter.
Really?
Yeah, that's it.
Huh. Respectable.
Yeah,
Very
so it
respectable.
is basically all fruits and vegetables. The entire thing is fruits, vegetables, and
I think
nuts.
C-Money wants some too.
Oh, see,
I
money
like
wants
it,
to try
yeah.
some of this pie.
T-con.
Get the team going.
Yeah, and some T coin. That's the latest ICO T coin, right there. Give T coin and C money some of this fruit and vegetable pie.
Dude. I feel like my healthiness has gone up just in the hour that I've been here. It's
Awesome.
phenomenal.
That's good. All right. Hey, we need a question from the audience. We've covered a lot of ground today. We've covered healthy pizza recipes, healthy pie recipes. We have covered buying insurance as an investment strategy. We have covered MLPs. We've talked about investment banking. We have talked about hitting $100,000 a month of physical product brand for the first time. I need your feedback on what's going on in your world and what these two smart dudes and this handsome dude can answer for you. I'll defer all of the smart questions to my right and to my left, and all sarcastic questions I'll take myself. What are you looking at?
I was looking at the last comment from somebody. Backstage Harlequin?
Here's another sweet spot words. I'm
See
gonna
it working.
avoid that one. I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna
me
use
neither,
that.
Perry.
Hey, Tom Nellens just joined us. What's up, Tom? Good to see you, dude. So you actually don't hate the pie.
I do not. I was skeptical, but I'm pleased. I'm impressed. It was very good.
But you're insulted that there's cauliflower in your pie.
Not a fan
Little
of
bit.
cauliflower in general.
Not at all. Like it's just it's
So here's the thing about cauliflower. Cauliflower can actually be used as a replacement for almost all flours.
yeah.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, ladies and
Mhm.
gentlemen. Amanda Schendel says, "I'm not even mad. I'm just impressed." Dr. Clement, what are you investing in these days?
My own businesses.
Good
I
call.
think that is probably like you've got the most control over that, and
You do.
yeah,
I probably said that 100 times this last month. When people ask me like what to invest in, is as long as you have the ability to pair your capital with your time, that's most likely going to be. Well, it depends on who you are, because sometimes that can be devastating to your poor capital. Your capital sees you coming and is like, El Diablo, no. But it's usually when you compare your capital with your time. It's kind of like John Locke's theory of property. You know, it just gives you that ability to, you know, as long as you have that ability to pair your capital with time, it's going to be your highest return most likely. Eventually, you get to a point where you run out of time, you have more capital, you have time to work with, and that's a good problem to have. But until then, I preach that to young entrepreneurs day in, day out. It's, you know, when you're at a point where you can still pair your capital with your time, do it over and over again.
I will say that I really like and liked doing small cap and micro cap investing because like that was I got started in investing with Peter Lynch and big fan of him, but it's a way to kind of figure out whether or not you're good at figuring out strategies of businesses relative to the underlying asset values. And
Yeah.
it is always nice to be right.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. He's just so calm, like, it's always nice to be right. Clement was right, I guess, a few times.
Hey, there was an interesting question that came in the comments. We've been talking about insurance as an investment strategy, and I was telling you earlier that I was sitting with a friend of mine in his apartment a few years ago. We were talking about we were waiting for the economy to crash and we were holding on to all our money. And because when the recession happens, we're going to buy everything. Well, what happened was the market's doubled since then, and we missed all this upside, and we were fools. So if I had had it in a policy like this, it would have been a much smarter play than just putting it under my mattress. And so we talked about all this as a strategy, and somebody just asked the obvious question, how the heck do you actually invest in that?
In insurance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, with that, what we do is we take a life insurance policy, and we try to make it as little like a life insurance policy as we possibly can under the tax codes. We strip out all the things that the insurance company would normally want you to have in there and make it as much like a cash bucket and as little like a death benefit as you can, which is kind of counterintuitive to what insurance companies and agents want to sell, because it's not the most profitable for the insurance company, not the most profitable for the agent.
Depending on who you use.
Depending on who you
Yeah.
use, absolutely, yeah.
What Sam is saying is you call Sam, and that's how you do that. That's
Now,
how you back.
is there like something in the tax code where if your bank requires you to have an insurance policy, then it's tax deductible? Or is that like, am I?
There are portions you can deduct when it's for legitimate business purposes, but for the most part, not much of it. And especially not in this structure when we're putting so much cash into it. There's not a lot of ways to deduct it and keep it liquid where you can leverage it. You can deduct it and it treats it more like a qualified plan, like a 401k or an IRA. But just like if you leverage your IRA, or you leverage an annuity or something, it's going to be a taxable event when you leverage it. And so typically, if you want to try to leverage it, that's not going to work out well there. But you just set up an insurance policy where we strip out all the insurance components of it and dump cash into it. And then what we've got is we've got this tax efficient bucket. It's highly liquid. Banks love to loan against it. It's just a really attractive form of capital, a place to store capital. And so like you'll actually, if you look up and see, you can look up in public banks. And I'm sure you know this from your
I'm okay.
from your experience, Clement, like you've seen, I'm sure banks hold insurance as one of their asset classes. They'll BOLI, bank-owned life insurance is a real common thing where they hold a lot of their tier one assets, where they own policies on key employees and are able to have those cash values count for their asset. You know.
I once again have no idea what any of that meant.
Yeah,
However, there was my favorite comment of the night was just posted by the legendary Lavery, which is, I'm investing in getting Ryan to make a recipe book. Listen, if any of you watching have experienced making a recipe book, I legitimately do want to make one. I'm going to call it Bachelor Meals or the Anti-Dad Bod Diet, one of the two. If you have experienced actually making recipe books, I would legitimately like to do this. It would be a lot of fun. It's the one hobby I have that immediately takes me out of work.
That's awesome.
It's the one thing I can do without fail that takes me out of thinking about business and work all the time. So if any of you have that experience, please hit me up on Instagram at Ryan Daniel Moran, because I would like to work with you. Also, Dr. Clement's putting together a recipe book. It's called Sous Videing for Fun and Networking.
Yeah.
And this is where he makes a comment that
Do we need to
I'm
we need to
waiting
pitch
for.
we need to sell his sous vide a little bit. So I'll give him a talk here. So last time I was over here, the reason I talked about Clement's cooking is he made steak in water. I'm not sure how that happened, but somehow this steak was cooked in water and then seared somehow. And
we
was
boiled the steak.
probably the best steak I've ever had, because when he described it, I thought that's gonna be gross, and it was just off the charts. I mean, the char lines on this. So this is when you know you have a steak, because you got your pink in the middle, you got your medium rare. When it's medium rare all the way to the edge, right up here, oh, that's when you've done it right. That's when you've done it right. And Clement, top notch.
Do you know the first time he ever sous vide something when I was around? He pulled out a blowtorch, he puts this in this brisket on the pan on the
Committed.
stove.
I think it was steak. Must have been steak. But anyways.
He pulls out a blowtorch. It was basically like the not a flamethrower from the Boring Company.
There we go.
And he like fires up.
Yes. It's committed.
And he
Presentation.
chars the outside. And he goes.
Perfect impression.
And then he takes it. It's more like. I think it's ready now. And he puts it on the table. I'm like, that was the manliest thing any human being has ever done. You just took a flamethrower and cooked a steak
That's
after
awesome.
sous videing it. This is amazing.
I was impressed.
I would like to offer you a guest feature in my Anti-Dad Bod Diet book. which
Oh,
Brianna
sucks.
Thomas has just offered to help me create in the comments. Brianna, if you want to help me put
She
together
gets
the book,
wine. She helps you make a recipe.
Oh
book.
yeah, she's our all-star player
Whew.
right here. I would like to work with you on creating this book.
I love it.
Do you accept having a guest featured?
Absolutely.
Yes. This is
I like it, I'm
happening,
telling you.
guys and girls. Hey, do we have any drunk dials to make? If not, I'm just gonna start dialing people.
Nobody's giving us their numbers, so I'd say we just pop in on them.
Wanna call
I like it.
somebody?
I think we're gonna have to call somebody. Wow, I got really quiet and awkward there for a second, and I wasn't sure what to do about this.
There was somebody right at the beginning
What's that?
who left a number.
Didn't we call that?
Oh,
The legendary labor says, I'll help write the book if I get free samples. I know about marketing, selling books. That's true, you do. Well, Catherine, you can have unlimited peanut butter sauce, which I'm pretty good at making. Oh, I didn't tell you that. I made a peanut butter sauce. That is that's what the
Little drizzle is
I don't know that you quite call it a drizzle. It's more of a bad bedroom phrases. This is growing on me.
I like it. There we go.
Hashtag bad bedroom phrases.
Hey, we did get a request on Instagram, by the way.
What do we got?
David O'Deed says, I live for crypto, and I'm also an entrepreneur here in the capital of the great state. Let's grab coffee and talk crypto sometime. In this downturn, I'd love to share the knowledge I've gathered in my 4-year crypto career.
All right.
What do you say?
Can you come over here and read that into the mic? Because I actually have a great answer for this. We have a great question submitted. This is the question of the night. Come on over here.
This is on the Ryan Daniel Moran Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And, we just got a hot lead of a young entrepreneur who wants to meet up. So he says, I live for crypto, and I'm also an entrepreneur here in the capital of the great state. Let's grab coffee and talk crypto sometime.
Mm-hmm.
In this downturn, I'd love to share the knowledge I've gathered in my 4-year career.
Okay, so this is how I would answer that question. No.
Yeah, it's fine again.
Mm-hmm.
And awkward.
Anything
Phenomenal
else?
weather today, love this great state of Austin and their weather.
My only comment on the crypto downturn is it's a good start. I'm just enjoying watching it burn. And if you think it's done burning, no, it's gonna keep burning. And I'm saying burn, baby, burn. I know your take.
Good, sorry. He's like, what's your thoughts? Like, well, I don't want to get on that. But yes.
I know your thoughts.
Yeah.
That the technology's interesting and the
Yes.
coins are as good as toilet paper.
I think
Your thoughts are?
those are great thoughts on the
Those are great.
different,
Those are some great thoughts. The most beautiful thoughts, the greatest
They're huge
thoughts.
thoughts.
The thoughts are the best thoughts that anyone's thought.
So first off, differentiating between the technology and the coinage is very important because the coinage is technology based. And time you have technology is going to advance over time, so there's a high risk of your coin becoming obsolete. So I think that's a good differentiation to make at the beginning. Then knowing what kind of asset class it is it's way more speculative. And so in my mind, my model for investing is build your base, buy cash flow until you have enough there that you have met what you need to be comfortable. That's whatever your goal is. And you think I want to have X amount of cash flow. You get to that goal by widening your base before we go into speculative assets. Whether your speculative asset is crypto, if that's what you feel strongly about, or angel investing, or land, or whatever you want to go buy that's speculative, that's not cash flowing, we go into that after we've built a wide enough base. Because then what you do is that base, if you don't need the cash flow, you can use the cash flow from your base to go spin the wheel up
Right.
over and
Right.
over and over and over again.
Right. The way I put this is you expand your lifestyle based on the predictable
Correct.
passive income that you get from your investments. And part of that lifestyle might be risky investments that you
Sure.
ride.
Absolutely.
But you don't take a large allocation of your portfolio and put it into any speculative investment. And any speculative investment is qualified as anything that you're hoping goes up in value versus spits off cash flow. That's a speculative investment. If you're hoping it goes up rather than produces cash flow, it's a speculative investment.
And I think
that's where the minority of your portfolio goes.
Peter Lynch would say that Vegas is a lot more fun.
Yes, and that's what I was going to get to. As you think about this, is really you can put speculation in the same thing as spinning the wheel. So if you got 36 spots or 38 spots to hit, if the odds were that every time you hit, you get 40 to 1 odds, you could play that game and win. It would just take a while for that to happen. But if you got odds in your favor, obviously that's not.
And
how
they give you
Vegas
free
works.
drinks apparently.
And free
If you're-
drinks, right? Yes.
If you're into that.
If you're into that, I'm sure they can get you something besides red wine, Clement. It'll be okay. Don't worry.
You know who made a lot of money from crypto though, and continues to? People selling things about crypto. It's always more profitable to be in business.
It appeals to human nature because you get the chance, and then really what it boils down to is there's a lot of creative ways to say don't follow the get-rich-quick method, because everyone wants to reverse that order and invest through speculation first and then lower all
Right.
those dollars down. They don't want to
Right.
pair their capital with intelligence and time. They want to pair their capital with luck.
Yeah, but the
I
funny,
like it.
the funny thing is everybody's going for those quick wins so that they could then invest the money into passive income.
Then they can go wise later.
And then you're right, they go stupid so that they can go wise later. The dream is, but if I only have a few $1,000,000, then I could put it in
Sure.
at 6% and never have to work again.
Right.
Or you could just earn the money and put it into the same.
Yeah. There's
Passive.
a movie called The Gambler, I think. I can't recommend it obviously because it's a little more profane than it should probably be. But there's a lot
That's
of good
fine. You
clips.
can say any words you want.
Oh, there we go. Then good. But it's called The Gambler, and it talks a lot about these type of talks. And
Did you just not recommend a movie because it has curse words? Have you ever seen me on camera?
Fair enough. Fair enough. But I don't know that I've watched the whole movie all the way through. I think I've only watched clips from it.
They said fuck too many times.
About 40 times too many in one clip. It was
Okay,
a great
got it.
clip.
Okay.
But it's funny. When I hear people talk about investing, I actually find a lot of similarities to those movies and those clips that are kind of hilarious. And so at some point I'll send you the clips. and you can
Okay,
watch them.
sounds good. A good question just came in the comments. Well, what about insurance? Is insurance a speculative investment? How would you answer that?
Absolutely not. No, it's predictable. I mean, anything has a level of risk, but people confuse risk and speculation all the time. And so anybody who says that there's a no risk investment is either lying to you or doesn't have any imagination, because every investment has a level of risk to it.
Because every investment is only as good as the business underneath it.
Absolutely.
Including anything. Like anything. If you buy a stock on the stock market,
You're-
it's only as good as the investment behind it.
Your
For
savings account.
example, like I buy really old dividend paying stocks that have a dip that cross into a 4% dividend. I have podcasts about this. You can go listen to my dividend strategy. But you know what company would have qualified for that? Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
So even my super safe, predictable strategy sometimes has a blockbuster in there. Everything has risk to it. Oh, by the way, while we're talking about
Do all your listeners know what Blockbuster is?
that's a T-Coin.
Well said, Clement.
T-Coin, you're the youngest person here. You know what Blockbuster is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I read about it somewhere.
Theoretically.
I read about it in history books. I forgot an ingredient that was in my pie, and I know because I just got one in my teeth. Bad bedroom phrases. There's a little bit of flax meal in here as well. Those are
Oh,
your,
so that's
those,
what the grittiness is.
Gotcha.
those are your omega 3s right there.
Way to make it gritty again.
I don't remember what we were talking about.
A guy has a follow-up question on insurance.
Yeah.
Does insurance produce cash flow?
Oh, good question. It definitely can. It's kind of like, think about real estate. The way that real estate works is you increase in value over time and you refinance, and that pulls out positive cash flow for you that's completely tax-free when you're able to have an increase in the value of the asset and then leverage it further. Insurance performs that same fashion. So a lot of times we'll have people who will cash flow significant tax-free cash flow down the road that you can pull from your insurance policy in addition to whatever other cash flow you get from other investments. So it is most definitely, we use it for cash flow. It's meant to create a secondary driver of tax-free cash flow.
You made a really interesting point earlier, which was if you're betting on insurance as your investment strategy, you're thinking too small, essentially.
Absolutely.
So insurance is basically like the proxy to buy other investments because while I was telling you the story earlier, when I sold my last company, I was walking on the bridge with our buddy Kamal.
Yes.
Who invests? He actually invests in a lot of crypto because he's like an insider in crypto, and he invests in a lot of Silicon Valley startups. And he has a fund for people who do that. He makes that available to people in the back room. which a lot of people don't know. That a lot of in the back room we have like a bunch of syndications and like private placements that are available. It's part of what we do in there. But I asked him, what would you do with the money if you were about to get a big check? And he's like, I would do nothing with it for a while, which was good advice, but would have been better advice is if I had parked it in a really safe place that was going to increase but never decrease, like insurance, and just wait. Because now, what is it produced in the last 5 years on average? 11, 12%?
Close to 10.
So if I'm getting 10 to 12% year over year, I'm not going to be stupid with that money anymore, right? It's like, that's as good as a return as I'm going to get in most real estate. So now I can just wait for a good deal, and then I can borrow against that asset and buy the other asset. And when you combine those two, you get really, really attractive returns. That's the play.
What is the index that it's usually based against?
Usually S&P.
Okay.
I was telling the more humorous version of that. Now I'm gonna dumb down yours even a little bit. So the more humorous version is insurance investing is like the friends with benefits of investing, because we're not committing capital. It's liquid. You can still get to it, and your risk is very limited as well. So that's maybe our next tag.
Oh yeah, we're gonna use that. Insurance is like friends with benefits.
Oh,
See,
dear.
Money, you were giggling over there a second ago. What do you?
Well,
what do you?
I got an interesting phone number here, but it sounds like, Tyler's working on something else.
Oh, okay. You took over.
You were.
Nothing to worry about over here.
You got an interesting phone number. I want to know whose number was so interesting.
We got Catherine Labor's number.
Oh,
All right.
I don't believe you. Catherine Labor doesn't give her number to nobody. To nobody. Matthew Turner says, if you've never rented an N64 or PS2 game from Blockbuster, you are too old or too young.
That's awesome. That's the litmus test.
That's perfect.
There we go.
That's my litmus test for if a girl's the right age to date.
Yeah.
Has she ever rented a PS2 or an N64 game from Blockbuster? Because that lets me know if she's too old, too young, or
Got it.
just not fun.
Fair enough.
You know, that's my criteria. That and a pulse. Okay, Jordan Glickman says, how old were you when you started your first product? And do you think how we sell physical products will change dramatically over the course of the next 5 years? When I sold my first physical product, I was 2013. What year is it? 2018 now? I was 25. Why did you just nod affirmatively like you knew the answer before I did?
Well,
Oh yeah,
5
that's
years
correct. That's correct, Ryan. You were 25 when you sold your first product. I was 25, and do I think things will change dramatically in the next 5 years? It depends on what you mean by dramatically. I mean, some people would say it's changed dramatically in the last 2 years because some people are hoping that things never change. I don't think Amazon is going away. I think it will continue to get more competitive. I think we'll have additional marketplaces. We'll have additional forms of distribution. We'll have different additional forms of advertising. I think costs of advertising will go up. And I think you will have more and more micro brands. Micro brands are something that I call very, very specifically targeted brands. For example, you'll see packaged foods that are cauliflower. We had some tonight. We had a cauliflower crust. You'll see very, very specific brands to specific people. For example, there's 7 billion people on the planet. 4 billion of them have internet access. And you only need a very, very small percentage of those to be a very wealthy person. So if you are the first to target a group of 10 million people, you'll charge higher prices. You'll be the perfect solution for that group of people. You'll go viral in that group of 10 million people. And you'll have a lot of super fans who are excited about your brand. So I think it's going to continue to go more and more micro brand. So it depends on what you mean by will things dramatically change. I think the basic rules of sales and marketing apply. What changes is marketplaces, what changes is competition, what changes is overall tactics. But business principles rarely change. What do we got, C-Money?
We got a special call here.
We got a special call on Wine with Wyan. Sam Prentice, I'm going to let you lead this one.
Hey, who is this?
Hey, mute your computer.
Who's this, Chris?
Hey guys, it's Catherine here.
Catherine
Catherine.
Lavery is here, everybody! Woo!
Hey.
How are you doing?
Yay! Do you know that you're speaking to greatness, Sam?
I did. I was going to ask Catherine what's special about Catherine. because I
What's
have to know.
special
I
about
don't know.
Catherine? Are you kidding
That's
me?
what you have to tell me.
Where have you been since 2015?
apparently in the wrong spot. Tell me.
Apparently, you have been in the wrong spot. Catherine, what's going on?
Now, Mark, I have some big questions on investing. I want to know, like, what should I be investing in right now? Ryan, you made me some money with your dividend stocks. Give me your top 5 right now.
Oh, my top 5 dividend-paying stocks? Oh, right, I have made you some money with my dividend-paying stock picks. This is actually how Catherine and I sort of met, was over investment talk. All right, so my top 5 dividend-paying stock picks right now. I recently made a Facebook post about this, so let's see if I can remember them. My favorite right now is AT&T. They have a 6.25 dividend, and they just completed an acquisition of Time Warner Cable, which is super cash positive. I think AT&T is basically an old business model. Like, they're going to go out of business, but they're building through acquisitions, which is really interesting. And they're spitting off over $20 billion in positive cash flow a year. So they're in a position to stay around for a long time, but their dividend is 6.25%. So they're my favorite right now. My number 2 is probably Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble is one of my favorite stocks on the market, and anytime they have a 3.5% dividend or better, I'm buying. So I'm buying a lot of Procter & Gamble right now. They're just overall one of my favorite companies. Dr. Clement actually probably disagrees with me on this, but they're just a super strong company that's going to be around for decades longer, and they're in a big downturn right now. So that's my number 2. My number 3 trades under the signal DOV. I think their company's called Dover. They're a manufacturing company, and full disclosure, I know very little about them. I saw them on a list of the top dividend-paying stocks to buy, and I just started tracking them as a company. They were listed as the number 1 dividend-paying stock, so I just started tracking them. And they're in a huge pullback right now. They're really, really profitable as a manufacturing company. They've been around for over 50 years. They have a history of raising their dividend every year for decades. And they've had a really big pullback in the last 6 months or so. So they're a really solid play right now. All right, so that's my top 3. I'm watching Johnson & Johnson, but they haven't pulled back as much as I would like to see before I go all in on something. I'm high on IBM. IBM has a really solid dividend right now and a really solid dividend history, and they've just got slaughtered in the last year and a half. They're playing catch up in terms of their business model. They're getting beat by some other companies, but they have so much cash on the sidelines that they're in a position to weather the storm that they're in right now. So I think that they're going to kind of come out of the trough that they're in right now. I've only got 1 left, so I need to be really careful with my 5th recommendation. I'm going to pause while I think about my 5th. Do any of you like any dividend-paying stock right now?
Right now, I'd probably look up OKE.
OKE?
Yeah, OKE
What's
is
that?
the ticker. It's a midstream pipeline stock, and that's what I bought back when oil took its downturn. And I still think that it's a solid dividend play for a long-term dividend play. Maybe not quite as much equity value as it was before, but I did like it.
Okay, so Sam recommends I shouldn't say this. Sam does not recommend.
I was gonna say.
Sam personally bought OKE, which was the pipeline play that you mentioned. Clement, are you tracking anything right now?
Is Kinder Morgan still public, or did they take them all private?
Kinder Morgan? I don't even know what that is.
Another pipeline company.
I don't know. Do you know what they trade under?
Okay. Am I?
Clement likes Kinder Morgan.
No, I'm not saying I do.
He does not like Kinder Morgan.
I used to quite like.
He brought up Kinder Morgan for no apparent reason.
Okay, it's public.
That's what he did, because they're public. They're a public company. Buy them.
It's on Wikipedia.
All right, so
I don't know anything about them recently though.
I've got 1 left, and I'm really hesitant to make this one. I have always really liked AGNC. So A like America, G which is great, N like the last letter in again, and C for cuts, as in tax cuts that we're all enjoying right now. So AGNC is a real estate investment trust which pays a 12% dividend, and they normalize it according to the stock price, which means that it's always going to hover around 12%. So when I don't have a different place to put money, I'm usually putting it in AGNC. C Money, I made some recommendations to you recently. Did I hit the ones that I recommended to you? Am I forgetting any? I hit AT&T, IBM. Anything else?
Procter and Gamble,
I said Procter and Gamble. Yep.
Dover,
Yep.
IBM, agency.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so I'm going to give you one stock that is not a dividend-paying stock. The stock that I think has just gotten beat up more than any other stock that didn't deserve it is the stock CVS Pharmacy. They trade under CVS. CVS bought Aetna for, I don't know, like $2 billion a few months ago. And I just think it's a really smart acquisition. They got absolutely trounced by the news that Amazon had acquired whatever pill popping company they just bought. But CVS is just an awesome company. And in tandem of that, Walgreens is a dividend paying stock that was also beat up by the news that Amazon bought that other company. So I really like CVS, although I'm not buying them for the dividend. And I like Walgreens, which actually does have a really solid dividend. And so it's a strategic play right now because I think they were just oversold, but they're both awesome companies. That was a way longer answer than I expected, but those are my top picks on the market, specifically chosen for Legendary Lavery.
All right, sweet. Want to make some money? I'll take you for a drink when you come to New York.
Yes, you know, I said recently on the show, this might have been last week when I had way too much wine. I was like, I haven't felt this drunk since Catherine Lavery bought wine when we were in New York City. She bought a lot of wine in New York City.
It was a speakeasy.
Okay, well, there was wine at that speakeasy.
There was more to dinner, and then there was cocktails and speakeasy.
Okay, well, I had a lot of wine that night, or I remember it terribly because I don't know what happened after that. Catherine Lavery, thanks for hanging out with us. We've been looking for you for 6 weeks on Wine with Wine. This really happened, everybody. We got Catherine Lavery on the show. Oh, and Catherine Lavery is going to be speaking at Brand Builder Summit in Austin, Texas in August 24th and 25th. She's our special guest. It's Legendary Lavery. Catherine is going to be here.
Make her excited.
Well, this got weird real quick, everybody. What a legendary call. Catherine, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me, guys. Have fun.
Later, Gator. Later. I don't know what to do with my hands. That really happened. Do we have any other drunk? Oh, we have another drunk dial to make. T-Coin, who we got?
We have Sean from Vegas.
Yeah,
Sean from the Vegas?
The Vegas.
The Vegas.
You know, we should call Sean Coyne sometime.
We should call. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing right now. Do you have your earphone? All right, we're going to drunk dial Sean after this. Sean from Vegas, what's going on?
What's going on, Mr. Moran?
What's going on? Well, we're eating healthy chocolate pie. There's 3 pieces left, and no one's trying them, which should tell you how good it was. What else is going on? We've got about half a glass of wine left, and I'm the only one. I've drank the most wine. Dr. Clement still... No, don't give me... No, I've had the most. You or Dr. Clement gets to drink the last of the wine.
You've had, like, over a bottle before.
What is your point? First of all, why...
Had, like,
are you judging me? Are you
most,
judging me?
30% of
Let
my bottle.
he who has never sinned cast the first stone, Dr. Clement. All right, Sean, what can we do you for?
So, Mr. Moran, if somebody handed you $1 million cash right now to start an Amazon business, where would you start it?
Okay, that's a really interesting question. First of all, because Sam and I recorded a podcast today called How Would You Invest $1 Million, which is going to be released pretty soon. But it was not about building an Amazon business. And once again, if you have an Amazon business, you don't have a real business because your business is the brand, not Amazon. But where would I put it in terms of how would I start it? What niche would I go into? Could you be a little bit more specific?
Yeah, is there a particular niche that you got in mind that you would get into, and then where would you allocate your funds? And I know you talk quite a bit about building an audience. So I'm sure a significant amount of money would go towards building an audience.
Yeah. Yeah, so actually, so here's what I would do. To be quite honest with you, I would do two things. One, I wouldn't start a business, I would buy one. And since I only have $1 million to work with, I'm not going to buy a super established one. I'm going to buy a business that's doing maybe $50,000 a month in sales. And the profits on that are going to be super low. So you're probably going to be able to acquire that for a few $100,000. So let's say you bought that business for $300,000. There's a bunch of brokers who specialize. My buddy Corin runs a brokerage called the FBA Broker. He'll be speaking at Brand Builder Summit this August 24th and 25th in Austin, Texas. Corin is at thefbabroker.com, I believe. I'd buy a $300,000 to $500,000 business. Of course, do your own due diligence. But I'd look for something that had 3 to 5 products that hadn't hit critical mass yet, that had some unique branding on it. Then with the remainder of my money, I'd be putting it into ads. And that ads would probably go to people with audiences in that space. So I would match up my product line that I just bought with influencers and audiences that were in that market, and I would use the remaining capital to buy as much inventory as possible so that I could be regularly advertising to people with audiences. I'd get those endorsements, turn them into Facebook ads, turn them into Amazon reviews, turn them into Amazon images, turn them into videos that I would run as ads, and that's how I would deploy the $1 million.
Awesome.
That was easy.
Incredible. That's exactly what I was looking for.
Awesome. That's what I would do, Sean. Now remember, you're talking to a couple of drunk dudes who know nothing about investing or business, and you shouldn't take any of our advice. But if that's what I was doing with it, that's what I would do with $1 million to build a business on Amazon.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Sean. All right, speaking of Sean, let's
give
are
him
we
a
gonna do
call.
audio or are we gonna do FaceTime here?
Well, that's a tough
question.
I think we should FaceTime him.
Without a doubt.
But how will
Yes.
The camera won't see his face, but you guys
yeah.
will.
I'll let you make the call here. FaceTime audio. That's unique.
How can
Let's
Okay,
drunk
video
dial
first.
Sean Coyne here.
let's see this here?
Oh,
There you go.
I like that you're dialing from Clement, but I'm the face on the phone. Sean! Sean! You're live on Line with Wyan! What's going on? We miss you!
Oh no.
Why aren't you wearing clothes?
See that angle of his camera up?
In bed.
You're watching TV in bed naked?
No, I have pants on.
What's going on, dude? How's San Francisco?
It's good. It's nice. It's warm.
Really?
Yeah, well, not like you all warm.
Because
but
it's whoa, he's officially a
You all.
Californian. He just said you all,
You all.
everybody. What does that even mean to say you all? He's been out of Texas way too long. Hold on, Sean, we gotta show you what's going on here. You've got Dr. Clement Juan. We got Drunk Ryan. This is Sam Prentice. Do you two know each other?
I don't know what to do.
C Money's here.
Sean might look different with clothes on.
That's right. And then T Coin.
What's up, Sean?
And then that's Facebook Live. Oh yeah, and that's YouTube Live right there.
Oh, the YouTubes are here.
All of the YouTubes are here. How's life different in? Actually, I'm gonna hold you by the mic. How's life different in California than it was in Austin, Texas?
I mean, it's easier to walk places in the summer because you don't die.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yep.
It's dirtier, which I didn't really expect.
I feel like it's more competitive. Like everything's competitive. Like you want to get a cup of coffee, you better be there early because there's gonna be a line. Like you want to go to the grocery store, like you better like rush there and like beat everybody else to get the things. There's just so many people jammed in a small area. It feels like everything's super competitive.
That sounds like it's ridden with psychological issues. Is that the case with people that live in San Francisco?
No, I mean it's good and bad. It's good from like a work perspective because everyone's very driven and like pushing you further. It's bad from a relaxing perspective because relaxing becomes competitive.
I relaxed harder than you did.
Yeah.
How do you relax in San Francisco?
Same way I did in Austin.
You take your shirt off and watch TV in bed?
Yeah.
Are you doing CrossFit?
No CrossFit.
Yeah, that's not relaxing.
No, it's not. It's exhausting.
It's not relaxing at all.
I do the normal gym where I can cheat and no one yells at me because no one's paying attention.
Hey, what's your doggy coin worth these days?
Oh, I don't know, like -$9. I think I owe them money.
Well, what do you like about San Francisco?
The walking everywhere is really cool. There's like lots of little parks nearby. I think there's probably I think I've read out of 200 or so parks in San Francisco.
Wow.
Some of them are really little, like one block. It's a little noisy here too. I don't know if you hear the.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
how big is your apartment in San Francisco? Give us a tour. That's it? Done? How many square feet is your apartment?
Like 300.
And is your rent higher or lower than $2,000 a month?
Higher. I pretty much live in the bedroom I had in Austin, but pay the entire rent of a 2-bedroom apartment. I live in the bedroom, and that includes the kitchen and the bathroom.
This sounds awesome. I now know why everyone moves to San Francisco. It's highly competitive. You can't relax, and you pay $2,000 a month for a bedroom.
And taxes. Taxes.
And
are
taxes,
big.
yeah.
And there's state income tax, so that's great.
Are you still happy with their decision to move?
Yeah, it's good.
All
It's
right.
just very different.
How are the women?
Great. Very great.
All right, my man. Well, it's good to chat with you. Thanks for hanging out with us on Wine with Wyan. I miss you terribly. I think about you every day. I wish you would come back. I'm only saying this because I've had too much wine. There's a hole in my life that only Sean Coyne can fill. Oh, bad bedroom phrases right there. That's a bad bedroom phrase.
It's not a complimentary, right, Clement?
Yeah.
I was a little emotionally moved over here, to be honest.
Okay, at least two of us would never say that phrase. But listen, Sean, I miss you terribly. Like, you are the type of friend that can't be replaced by more friends. I'm glad you're happy, but life isn't as bright without you in Austin, Texas. But I'm glad you're having a good time in
And
California.
Esther misses you.
Esther misses you terribly. Also, you look like you're growing pecs.
I've been working out a lot.
Yeah, Sean Coyne has been doing yoga on his yoga mat and taking sheer strength supplements.
Yeah, technically, yeah, for both of those.
All right, my man. It's good to see you.
See you guys. Miss you both.
All right. See you soon. Bye.
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 That was a great decision, Dr. Clement. All right. Matthew Underwood is asking, is anybody buying Ford? I actually have been tracking Ford as a company because they've been absolutely smashed lately. I buy dividend-paying stock, and their dividend isn't all that attractive. But as a company, they're kind of an interesting play right now.
And Kinder Morgan actually has a dividend yield of 4.5%.
Really? So what is that company exactly?
They do pipelines.
Tell us more about Kindred
I
Lavery.
really like them back
I
in
just
the day.
said Kindred Lavery because I'm reading the comment from Catherine Lavery. Kindred Lavery, a new company coming to the Dow Jones very soon.
I really like them back in the day because Kinder Morgan, or rather Richard Kinder, I think, was the founder of the company. He just bought up a ton of pipelines across the U.S. and he was a real character during the quarterly what are they called, interviews or calls,
Reports.
conference calls. Yeah, and they were, and he took a salary of $1. He ultimately, I think, sold to either KKR or one of the.
I thought you were going to say the KKK. I thought for sure you were going to say he ultimately sold to the KKK.
I don't think they have very much money.
I don't think they do either.
No, unless they make money. I forget what that site that Tim Ferriss recommends, where you like bet. You place bets on if you don't do something for X number
Oh,
of days.
stick.com?
Yeah, and maybe they make lots of money on that.
Okay.
Yeah, because. But anyway, and I think so. Right now, one of the big things that they were trying to figure out was whether or not they'd be able to build that big pipeline across Canada, and so they were hit. And I think they're building it now, and so I think there's a lot of uncertainty taken off that company, and it's growing. From what I can read in the 1 minute of time, so it's not a recommendation, but it seems interesting.
Okay, I have to answer this question in the comments from Andre. Oh, where'd it go? Andre Robinson. Hi Ryan, I sent you a message and waiting for you to respond. Please get back to me. Thanks, Andre. Here's how I answer this. No. The way to get someone's attention isn't to say, "Hey, I shot you a message. You owe me attention." Just not a good way to get people's attention. It's kind of a dick move. Just kind of is. So no. Kindred what? Kinder what?
Morgan.
Tinder Lavery is what that one was called. Tinder Lavery is Clement's stock pick. Well, guys, I don't know how to wrap this up, so I'm going to ask that you guys say something smart sounding.
Something
Nose
smart
goes.
sounding.
That's good.
What's that?
Nose goes. I was kidding. Oh, there we go.
Wow, it's getting sloppy up here. This is our sign. Dr. Clement still has half a glass left. Look at this. Where is it? Drink, Clement, drink, everybody. Put it in the comments.
It's not like we get barely through a bunch of different wine bottles. It's okay.
No, this is Cake Bread Cellars.
We should finish that.
We've gone through twice as much wine before on the show.
We
maybe
have.
3 times.
Yeah.
We have
Say,
gone through
uh,
way more wine than this. This is no.
This is a
I
lot
drank
of
more
wine.
than all of you.
Well,
I
I
don't
just
know
want to be
that that's
selfish with it. I'll
true.
finish it. Here,
You
we'll
should-
halvesy it.
All right.
Halvesy. You
We'll,
wanna drink more?
we'll halvesy the last 4 sips of this.
It's about right.
Kara Griffin says, "You are hilarious. Nice to see you are real. I am actually not a real person. The real Ryan lives at the office." Did you really, literally did just pour me 2 sips of wine.
That's exactly what I did.
Great. This is, if I was Dr. Clement, this would take me 4 hours. I'm writing a cookbook. Dr. Clement is writing a wine book. It's called 4 Hour Wine. It's this much wine, and every page is a sip, and it's just where it doesn't quite hit your lips.
Oh, dude. That's awesome.
What was I saying? Oh, the real me, Kira. Shoot, I lost your name. Hold on. There you go. Kira. No, I'm not a real person. The real Ryan lives at our office as a cardboard cutout. Insert picture of the cardboard cutout right here.
I got a question here. Someone wants to know what you think about Tesla's recent meltdown, their manufacturing issues, and Elon Musk acting crazy as the cash runs dry.
Yeah, so Tesla has been a really interesting company to watch, specifically as an investor. I think they're breaking all of the rules in terms of like traditional evaluation as a company. And you've seen a lot of traditional investors get scared, and their stock has been insanely volatile. I mean, it goes up 30%, it goes down 30%, and it moves in huge swings. I personally am long-term very bullish on Tesla. I am waiting for it to kind of shake out. My buy signal at Tesla is just south of 300 as a strike price, if you will. So if Tesla's under 300, I'm buying, or I'm at least buying options. So I like to buy options in riskier companies. For example, if I'm not sure what a stock is going to do, I'll buy a call option on that stock, which gives me the right to buy at a certain price. So if it rockets up, then I've locked in that price and I can buy it at the price that I set on the option.
Why 300? That sounds.
Because historically, that has been kind of a floor in its trading. Over the last 2 years, it's been very volatile, but it has in the last year and a half to 2 years, it's always bounced from 300. So 300 seems to be where it bounces from, at least a trading perspective. That's where I hold it long term, but I'm usually buying more when it comes under 300. Long term, I think the company is going to be just fine. And if anybody can raise money during points where cash flows are tight, it's Elon Musk. There are entire funds set up just to back Elon Musk companies. I don't think he's going to have any problem shoring up cash flows. So overall, I think they're going to be perfectly fine. And they've always hit challenges. They've always missed deadlines, and they continue to do just fine. So I'm overall very bullish on Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any final questions? The energy drop in here is palpable, so we're gonna wrap this thing up.
I got nothing. Tyler, anything? Any questions, comments?
We've solved all the world's problems.
Good night.
Hey, Sam, where can people follow you?
Go to gowealthpoint.com. Honestly, just look me up, email me. We've got a Facebook page as well. Go
Wow,
Wealth Point.
well, that's impressive. You
That's
guys,
as far as we are.
you're ahead of the curve right here. You
Not
got
really
a
big-
Facebook
not really
page.
big tweeter.
Okay, gowealthpoint.com. Special thanks to Aubrey Marcus for supplying the clothing worn by yours truly during this episode. Oh, public apologies to Tim Ferriss. We wanted to get to him tonight, but we ran out of time. Sorry, Tim. We'll try to get to you next time.
The next 4-hour wine drinking time.
That's right. Special thanks to Brianna Thomas for supplying tonight's chosen bottle of wine, and for agreeing to create my upcoming cookbook, which will be called either the Anti-Dad Bod Diet or Bachelor Meals. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Which name do you prefer? Dr. Clement, when are you performing your next YouTube live open heart surgery?
The next one?
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Probably never. Probably never.
Okay. It got sloppy up in here tonight, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us at Let me try that again.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for hanging out with us at Wine with Wine. We need a better outro. We need a catchphrase. We need a
better climax.
and that is a bad bedroom phrase. Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Night. Let's. If I can.
There you go.
You can do it.